All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we wanted to chat all night. We almost missed our meeting. At this time, I'd like to call the Crystal City Council meeting to order, and we will start with roll call.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Here.
Councilmember Cummings.
Here.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
And Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
And Councilmember Parsons is absent. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The council has an agenda before them. I am looking for a motion on that agenda. Nancy?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, looking for a second. Brendan?
I'll second that motion.
All right, let's do a roll call vote. Keep going back and forth, don't we?
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Councilmember Banks.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Okay, so first item on the agenda is an appearance by Kiley Benson. I've invited him to come here. It is Volunteers Month, and this kind of fits in the spirit of what that month is about. Something happened a couple months ago, which was really kind of unique for Crystal and unique for us. I got a call from a Crystal resident to see if we could get some meals taken down to the 133rd Air Wing. And I made some calls to some restaurants. And then at the end of the day, I called Kiley, and Kiley got it done. It was quite an interesting morning. We were back and forth quite a bit. I think he was in the middle of his workday, trying to get from one place to another. And he wasn't, I don't even think he was in town. I was working on a construction site that day. And of course, I couldn't really do anything logistically, or at least I didn't think I could. But I called Kiley, and he says, yeah, I think we can get 40 meals for you. You know, because what happened, there was an airplane that had broke down or had some mechanical problems. They had to land here. It was the guards from Montana. I think there were a couple other states involved with that guard unit. And they were landing here, and the call for help was, we need meals for some of these men who are going to be stuck in Minneapolis. And I'm kind of scratching my head going, what is this all about? Well, there's no budget for to pay for meals for another company, much less a different branch. And even if they had the money, because of COVID, their cafeteria was closed down. So they were kind of stuck. And they landed here about 11 o'clock. And I think I'd had a couple conversations with Kiley by that time. And I think the second or third call to Kiley was, they need a little bit more than 30 meals. So it kind of ballooned up. And as it turned out, they had to fly in their own mechanics from Montana here. So they were going to be flying them in as well. So I got a third call from John Geezy. You know, he's the guy who's in charge of the facility. And he says, well, can you do 30 more? I said, John, I got to tell you, I don't know. Let me give Kiley a call back. And somehow we ended up at 100 meals. Yep. And it was kind of a surreal thing, because everybody who was in contact with that particular guard unit was from Crystal. John Geezy's a Crystal resident. You're a Crystal resident. Mm-hmm. I'm a Crystal resident. And it was just cool to see how willing you were to make it happen and just take care of the logistics. And you obviously represent Be Kind to People, which is an organization that provides food to I don't know. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Be Kind?
So we've been providing food access to the residents of Crystal and the surrounding cities since the beginning of COVID on a weekly basis to the tune of 400 to 600 cars a week, which equates to 5,000 to 6,000 individuals representing sometimes multiple families that they're picking up for. We've been doing other things prior around food access, but COVID really motivated us forward, and we've continued to have a consistent presence in the food access to the Crystal community. So when the mayor's phone call came in with 30, maybe 60, how about 100, it was really just our willingness to be able to be nimble and just kind of reallocate meals that we already had staged. COVID has caused us to keep coffers, if you will, of food available, not necessarily for a plane landing, but for situations like that, because people are hungry and they're hungry now. They can't wait 48 hours for us to figure out something. So this happened to just tap on that resource. So we were glad to be able to partner and make it happen, and it turned out to be a really cool story.
Yeah, it was a cool story. And, when I got there, I forgot to tell you, I went down to the 133rd Air Wing with one of your employees.
Mm-hmm.
I met him down there, and I had no intention of going there. But John Geezy says, "Yeah, and the troops are looking forward to you showing up."
Yeah.
I told him he'd come and talk to him, and I'm like, "You did what?"
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of my work day. I'm in work clothes. I got sawdust in my hair, the whole 9 yards, and it was kind of funny to be there. So it's one of those things for me that just really kind of hit home. It's one of those things, like, for me, having respect for people who are willing to serve at that level. I'm honored to be able to do that, and I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that a mayor never expects to address the troops. So I took some liberties.
Right.
I said I thanked the troops for their service on behalf of the city, and the liberty I took, I said, I'm sure the people of Minnesota are thankful for your service as well, and it was kind of funny. But yeah, they. Do you remember what meal was served?
I believe it was a Vietnamese meal of some sort, so chicken, carrots, rice,
Yep.
water, some chips. I think we were able to provide, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
It was the one thing I've learned from this entire experience is that whether it's the military like this experience or just a local family or anywhere in between, food access is required. The circumstances don't dictate their circumstances, and so it's just been awesome to be able to show up whenever called. So, and this was one of those moments.
And the commander, when I talked to the commander, he said, yeah, these guys were likely not to see a meal till after 1 o'clock that night.
That's what I heard.
So, because they logistically, they couldn't leave the base. And then a new plane would come in because the repairs wouldn't be done in time. This was a dispatch to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. So that's the day that happened.
And they made our servant that went down and brought you the food an honorary member. They gave him a badge, and so he came home glowing, and so that replicates into everything we do as well. So
Yeah.
he still has that badge.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yep.
And I was hoping to have pictures of it here, but I didn't have it with. But yeah, that would have been a real long day for them, and I thank them for the little bit that we could do to help honor and serve them. And they were so gracious. They said, you have no idea what this means to us. So I just kind of wanted to pass that on, and I'm thankful for your servant attitude in this community. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to, at some level, show that thanks. So
Yeah.
I do have a certificate for you, and I'm going
Cool.
to. I suppose I should read it. I'll read it here real quick. Sincere appreciation is extended to Kiley Benson on behalf of Be Kind to People for exhibiting resourcefulness and generosity in supporting the 133rd Air Wing of the Minnesota National Guard by securing and providing meals to the Guard members and their guests before the unit left to provide security at the 59th presidential inauguration in January 2021. And that's what it says.
Awesome. Thank you for the honor.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Nancy's gonna do it, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now back to some other business. Consent agenda, I'm going to read that into the record. First item is approval of the minutes from the following meetings. The city council work session on March 11th. And council meeting on March 16th and the work session from that same date. And then the list of license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council, that's on file in her office. Approval of a resolution accepting donations of $2,500 from the VFW Post 494 for Crystal Frolics. Thank you for that donation, that's substantial. Approval of a resolution authorizing the communication system subscriber agreement with Hennepin County. That is our consent agenda. Looking for a motion on the consent agenda. John?
So moved.
Looking for a second. Nancy?
Therese rose her hand.
Did she?
Yeah, she raised her hand.
Therese, go
I'll
ahead.
second it. I will
Thank you.
second it.
All right, let's do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Councilmember Banks.
Aye.
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Open forum, is there anybody here wishing to speak during open forum? Anyone online here wishing to speak during open forum? Seeing no one come forward or speak up, we will skip right by open forum and move on to our first regular agenda item, which is disbursements of $25,000 or greater. First item is Logis for the monthly application support and hosting of $34,642. Short Elliott Hendrickson for the 2021 utility reconstruction project, $36,110. West Metro Fire Rescue District for March contribution is $110,140. Golden Valley Joint Water Commission, February water costs, $130,314. League of Minnesota Cities for the second quarter of the 2021 workers' comp insurance, $127,874. Center for Energy and Environment, that's for the home improvement loan program costs, $42,774. MinPair for the employee city required contributions for pay date 3/19/21, $61,192. Met Council water service, wastewater service for April is $143,035. Waste management for February HRG recycling costs, $45,744. Total disbursements of greater than $25,000 is $731,828.08. Are there any questions from council on any one of these items? Seeing and hearing no questions, looking for a motion. John?
I make a motion to approve the list of disbursements over 25,000.
All right, thank you. Second? Therese?
I will second that.
Thank you. Let's do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Councilmember Banks.
Aye.
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you for that. Our second regular agenda item is in relationship to purchase of 4 squad cars. Our police chief, Stephanie Revering, is here to address the council. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. As you know, usually in January I come before you to order police squad cars for the year. However, if you remember, Last year, around this time, I actually came to you and asked you for the purchase of squad cars for this year because of the setback and how long it was taking for us to receive those vehicles. We received information that the same is true for next year's vehicles. We were told that we have to order them by May of this year in order for us to obtain them for even next year. So I'm coming before you to ask you for 4 squad cars for 2022, which is in the perf account, and for you to approve the resolution.
All right. Question relating to last year's, have they come in?
I'm sorry?
The ones we ordered last year, they're in?
We got them in.
All right.
Correct.
When did that happen?
That actually happened in late December.
Late December?
Yep.
Okay, all right. John, you had a question?
Yeah, so we pay for them when we take delivery, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so even though we're approving it now, once the vehicles show up, then we pay for them.
Correct.
Okay, very good,
We just don't want to order them without your approval.
right.
So we had an adjusting entry for December?
Don't talk that way to me.
Sorry about that. Accounting lingo there. Uh-huh. All right, any other questions for the chief? All right, looking for a motion. Brendan?
I'll make a motion, approving, where's the right link?
6.2?
I always want to make sure I say the language right, sorry.
No, that's all right.
6.2.
Yep, all right, I make a motion approving the resolution for approving the police equipment revolving fund expenditure for purchase of 4 police vehicles.
All right, thank you. Nancy?
I'll second.
Awesome. Let's do roll call vote.
Councilmember LaRoche,
Aye.
Mayor Adams,
Aye.
Councilmember Banks,
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski,
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings,
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you. All right, we have next some conversation about SAC charges and a deferral program for that. Our Community Development Director, John Sutter, is here to address us. Welcome, John.
Great, thank you, Mayor Adams, council members. Well, the good news tonight is I have one slide presentation for both items, 6.3 and 6.4. So
Okay.
I'll try to move
Just
through this
wrong.
quickly.
Easy enough.
So are you all familiar with the sewer availability charge that Metropolitan Council assesses whenever there is new development in the Twin Cities metro area or a change in use that they deem to be significant in terms of an impact on sanitary sewer treatment capacity needs? So I assume the answer to that is yes. And the key for us is when we issue a building permit, we have to collect the SAC and then we pass that through to Met Council. So this is clearly a pass-through thing, but the cities are on the hook for those charges. We can't choose to not charge them. And what we're running into is some of our older commercial spaces, or any of our commercial spaces really, where it's a change in use from a low water intensive use, like a retail store or an office, to something like a restaurant that might use a lot more water. They would be charged a significant number of SAC units. We have a case that's come up recently, which is the second item tonight. The first thing we need to ask you to do is to approve a resolution that would authorize us to have a SAC deferral program. This is something where Met Council provides their funds up front to help spread these costs out. There are various guidelines they have, and I won't get into all of those. But the short version of it is we are able to basically, at no cost to the city, help defer these SAC fees, and also at no risk to the city, because we have the capability of assessing any unpaid SAC charges against the property once each year, just like an unpaid utility bill, and you're all familiar with that process. So for that reason, we strongly recommend that you adopt this resolution so that we can proceed with setting up this program. And before I move on to the next item or the next page, are there any questions on the deferral program generally in terms of how it works?
Questions from the council? Yeah, did you have something? No.
No, good, no.
You know, a lot of the times when we talk about SAC charges, it's, for me, in my mind, I used to think it was always on a new build. This is an existing it can happen on an existing property, which we'll get into a little bit more as you continue. But I was really hoping there was something we could do to where we could make it easier for people to come in and do business in Crystal. But after a little bit of research, I found out quickly that this has nothing to do with what we do. There's none of our policies that make this happen or not happen. For me, I guess going through this particular item, it gave me a little bit bigger view of some of the details as to how it happens inside of administration with the Met Council and what you guys do here. So quite frankly, I think by the time I was done, I was really happy to not know that stuff. So it's kind of some deep stuff, but yeah, I'm happy that we're able to do this. This is a good deal for anyone coming in trying to do different business here in Crystal. All right, you may continue unless there's other questions.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Adams. And so the second item tonight is the specific case that prompted us to set this up. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the former Aqua Tropics space at 3549 Douglas Drive. It's been vacant for, I think, a few years now. A new business has leased the space. The business name is Bella's Shop. It's a combination cafe, bakery, ice cream shop, and then there'll also be a retail store focusing on local products, especially local foods, locally produced foods. Because for reasons that I frankly don't understand, but Metropolitan Council Environmental Services has determined that this change in use will require a payment of 11 SAC units, which works out to $27,335. Now, Bella's is not asking for the maximum deferment allowed. You can defer up to 80% under the Met Council Master Agreement. They are only asking to defer 50% of it. They are able to pay 50% of it up front in the next week or so when they come in to get their building permit. But they would like to have the ability to pay off the remaining half over 5 years at the standard Met Council interest rate. So the important thing to note here again is that our agreement actually is with the property owner, not Bella's. Bella's is their business tenant, but the owner of the real estate is the one that we have to enter an agreement with, because not only do we have the right to assess the property, but they, in that agreement, waive their right to appeal the assessment. That's what makes this a no-risk proposition for the city. The property owner wholeheartedly endorsed this approach because I presume that the property owner thinks that they're going to be a very good tenant for his building. So with all that, the second action tonight, if you approve the resolution authorizing the program, would by simple motion be to authorize us to enter into the specific agreement for 3549 Douglas Drive. And again, I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Questions from the council?
Just a comment, if I
Sure,
could.
go ahead,
I think
Nancy.
this is a fantastic way to help businesses with such a high fee, especially given that this was a fish store with a lot of water passing through that place. I just found that a little unusual, but
Staff
happy
agrees.
we can offer that to them, you know?
Yeah, it's how they classify it, I
Right,
understand.
right.
And restaurants, I don't know, a retail operation isn't always made up of that much water, but it's still a retail operation.
It's still retail, yeah. Always learning here.
Yeah, we can't put everything in a box, I'm sorry. It doesn't really work. All right, any other questions, comments?
I'll make a
Go ahead,
motion if
Nancy.
there aren't. If it's ready, I would like, can I make both together?
I think they should need to be separate motions,
Separate,
please.
yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
So then I will recommend resolution approving a SAC deferral master agreement with the Met Council, establishing a local SAC payment deferral program, and adopting a SAC deferral policy.
All right, looking for a second. John,
Second that motion?
thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Adams,
Aye.
Councilmember Banks,
Aye.
Councilmember Berkshevsky,
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser,
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you for that. Looking for another motion? Nancy?
If I might, I would recommend approval to a deferred SAC payment agreement with Douglas Drive Partnership LLP for 3549 Douglas Drive North, Bella's Shop.
All right, second?
I
John?
second that motion.
All right, thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Councilmember Banks.
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
And Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
All right, thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
That's some good work. All right. That is our last agenda item. All right. We do have a couple announcements. Our next city council meeting, or excuse me, work session will be Thursday, April 8th at 6:30 PM in the council chambers at City Hall. You're welcome to show up here, or you can attend via Zoom, or you could always listen online at a later time. The next city council meeting is April 20th at 7 PM here at City Hall. You can attend that via Zoom as well, and also you can watch that on CCX, or view it later at your convenience on crystalmn.gov. Are there any other announcements? What else is going on?
Step 2, it's coming up in a month.
Step to it, okay.
That's for those who don't know, that's the Hennepin County program where citizens can volunteer, sign up and walk, count your steps, enter them, and it's a friendly competition between cities. So it'd be really cool to see Crystal win again. We did win about 4 years ago, I think,
4 and 5, we had 2
4 and
years in a
5?
row under different categories.
in their different
Yeah.
categories,
Yep.
so. Yeah, just look to step2it.org to get info and sign up.
Yeah. Very active city we had.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it again. All right. I'd like to kind of do a shout out for light rail stuff. As people in our community start seeing what this new line looks like, don't be afraid to let us know what you think. There's a lot of conversation going on in North Minneapolis, but in terms of what's going on in Crystal, there's not a lot of difference. But I personally would like to hear from some people to get some feedback as to what's going on. The alignment is proposed, I think, the same location in terms of what intersection, but the rest of the details are unknown. So if you have any feedback at this early date, don't be afraid to bring that up to either your representative or myself. We kind of need to know if you're thinking something as we go through this planning process. It's good to know. And if you want to get involved in that, I think there's probably room for that too. So,
Can I take on that too?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, I've noticed that with our existing railroad lines, that there's some potholes that are in the decking for the railroad lines. You can contact the railroads directly, email them, they'll send a crew out to patch those. So the one that was in Robbinsdale on 42nd, I mean, it's not the greatest patch job, but at least you can't see the steel anymore. So as you see other areas within the railroad line that have potholes, especially this spring, please reach out to them. They will send a crew out and they will fix them. So thank you very much.
yeah, you bet. You bet. All right. Nothing else? John,
I make a motion to adjourn?
thank you. Looking for a second? Nancy?
I'll second.
Wow, that was quick. Let's do a roll call vote.
Councilmember Banks.
Aye.
Councilmember Budaszewski.
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Aye.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Aye.
And Mayor Adams.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we are adjourned.